Pantami was chief imam of ABTU Mosque when my son was killed by Islamic extremists, father of murdered Christian students leader. In the wake of the unnerving stories about the support the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Pantami, gave to Islamic extremists in his past comments, a new revelation has emerged of how, as the chief imam of the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Bauchi Mosque, his preaching directly led to the brutal murder of a 400-level student, Sunday Achi, who was the leader of the ECWA student ministries on the campus. His crime was that he was said to have distributed a Christian tract which Sheikh Pantami had said blasphemed Islam and Prophet Muhammad. That was on the 9th of December 2004. According to a niche online, the story was that Achi was dragged out from his room by Muslim fundamentalists at the prompting of Pantami under a remote location within the school premises, where he was stoned to death. But okay. And when we have arguments of how backwards the northern part of the country really is, it seems like as if we're having prejudice against them, or we're just being unnecessarily rude and judgmental. But again, stoning to death, and not even that, is how they're using Islam as sort of umbrella and as a justification for whatever personal violence that they need to deal with. But according to the father of the late student, Professor Samuel Achi in Kaduna, his son was strangled to death in the mosque where Pantami held court, not stoned. Either way, it is still very strange. One thing I know is that you people, the media, got wrong that my son was not stoned to death. He was actually strangled inside the mosque, and they threw the corpse outside the university mosque. He insisted that there was nothing blasphemous in the tract his son and colleagues shared that would warrant a death sentence. It's a tract. I don't understand. They're not trying to convince, or it doesn't make sense. Achi narrated how a former governor of Kaduna State helped in retrieving his son's corpse from Bauchi for burial in Kaduna by liaising with the then governor of Bauchi State, Adamu Muazu. Many Nigerians have called for the sacking or resignation of Pantami after some comments he made some years ago came to light. We are all happy whenever unbelievers are killed, Pantami once said as an Islamic scholar and cleric. It's just more frustrating to me that he holds a position in a mosque. Obviously he's Muslim, and of course it's not a good look for Muslim. And it's so sad, because obviously at the time he was an imam, and obviously the things he says, especially when he was in that position, are so problematic. How can you be as an Islamic scholar and cleric, you say we are all happy whenever unbelievers are killed? Who is we? Is that based on the Quran? He also held Osama bin Laden, who orchestrated terrorist attacks on United States soil on the 11th of September 2001, saying the terrorist is a better Muslim than myself. Pantami once also condemned Muslims who took up government positions, saying he would never join politics or take up a role in government. Well, look at the pot calling the kettle black. It is the absolute hypocrisy for me. So how do we even trust his words, or trust that, he's always speaking facts? Someone says more and more evidence against the axis of evil, truth rules. I think right now, even though, yes, investigations need to go on by protocol, technically he should be fired. But to follow protocol and all that, he should be suspended. He has a very vital role in holding information, and so it's like, I don't understand why. Please. Someone says there must be a demon residing in that Minister of Communication. Unfortunately, men like him have found themselves, well, by virtue of being in the north, being Muslims and having connections, they automatically get roles that they do not deserve or even qualified for. Someone says truth can never be hidden forever. Nigeria is not an Islamic republic. If this is true, this man should be thoroughly investigated and brought to book. Well, people are asking for that, but then they wouldn't do it because the people. I think that I'm just having a really tough time having this, because again, with the way our government works, you assign people to make decisions on your behalf. and hopefully their interest would be I mean, it's just the lack of trust, and the communication just goes lost as the person gets into power, because before they got into power, they understood communication was perfect, but then as they got into power, communication gets lost, interests are now personalized. So sad. And he's saying by Islamic is not Nigeria is not an Islamic republic or Islamic state. It's actually very shocking. Meeting non-Nigerians, especially, I'll say meeting non-Nigerians, non-Africans, in fact. There is an assumption that Nigeria is an Islamic state, and I'm like, excuse me, as someone who, okay, fine, obviously, we're talking about these issues, but it's like when people ask me, oh, are you Muslim? Or they ask, oh, it's an Islamic country, right? I'm like, Islamic where? Who told you that? So again, that public or that notion or that view is very much out there and very prevalent. People genuinely think that Nigeria is a Muslim country. Someone says, so we have terrorists as communications minister. Remember, UAE, after investigations, revealed a member of Nigeria government was actively involved in terrorism. Till today, our government has not said anything about that revelation. The DSS and Senate are just total disgrace. No background checks are done. Why should it be done? Why should background checks be done in a country like Nigeria? Why? Like, it's just a waste of time. Again, I think it's so tiring and so laughable to apply logical and rational thinking and way of, doing things to a country like Nigeria that is absolutely upside down. Just do the extreme opposite of what is normal. That is what Nigeria is. Someone says, but wait, how did he pass Senate screening? Take a bow. The way government function, though, do we even know how they function? Because again, the laws are not a reflection of the values of society, and so that's why, like, no one respects the law. If you go to the UK, they respect the government. They are very obedient. Oh my days, very much obedient. The government says this, they do it. Government says this, they do that. Very much obedient, and they respect the law. It's something that they just, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like, oh, they respect the office, not necessarily who's there, but the office. And I think that we don't have that. And I think that, again, because we're so diverse and everyone wants to get represented and obviously live in their full expression, in total control of the resources, we don't have the opportunity to do that. We are literally cohabiting with one another. That's how Nigerians are. If you actually think of it, we're literally cohabiting and tolerating one another. It sounds very bad, but that's the truth. Put what you think about it in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.